Welcome to Sam's Painting Corner. My name is Sam, and today I will paint for you a Bloodraven Space Marine. He doesn't look much like a Bloodraven right now, but he will, I guarantee you that. So now the first thing I did is to prime the model with Krylon Color Master Red Oxide Primer. This is a very red brick kind of color, as you can see on the cap, and you're gonna get this color applied on him. So now the first thing I'm going to do with layering and shading is gonna be shading. We're gonna do Agrax Surf Shade all over the entire model, and I'm not gonna hold back on this one. I'm gonna grab a shade brush that I have around here and a palette. I'm gonna apply some of the shade on the palette, not too much, but then all that I grabbed there, I'm going to apply it on the model. I'm not gonna hold back on this one. I want to make sure that the shade is completely covering the model, and make sure that it doesn't pool, so it doesn't look all weird and nasty and grimy. You just want to shade the thing, don't worry about it. Now that he's been sitting down to dry for at least an hour, I am ready to paint this model in different colors. Now I'm going to apply different colors, and I'm going to use Mephiston Red as my first color. I do must say that I chose different colors for my dry brushing patterns. I'm going to use different type of colors that will help bring out the model's details very easily. Now then, we have the model on the handle as I did earlier. Mephiston Red, the first runner up. We're going to grab this dry brush over here. I'm gonna dab off the excess on a piece of paper towel, just so I don't add too much paint and ruin the details. Now you want to be very free about this, and don't press the brush against the model too much. You want to be very careful, but at the same time pick up the speed however you want. Take your time, just get the colors on the model. Now the next color is going to be Evil Sunz Scarlet. In Evil Sunz Scarlet, I'm going to apply it on the very raised areas of the model, and some spots where I think that the light will hit the most. I don't want the Mephiston Red to completely be covered. I want the Mephiston Red to show, to give it a good transition in reds. The key about this is to use different red colors to build up that Space Marine armor and make it look very good on the battlefield. A very easy thing to do to dry brush a lot of models. If you have a tournament coming up, this is the way to go, and I've done it many times. So Wild Rider Red is the next red color, and the red color that we have here is a little bit more bright, so you want to be careful with this one, and it has a red-orange kind of tone to it. We're gonna dry brush most of the excess, and we're gonna carefully go on the very raised areas of the armor panels, on the edges, on top of the helmets, on the trim areas, all those areas. We're gonna take our time and build up this color. Okay, so the next color is Jokairo Orange. This is another base color, and this one is very cool. I like this color, very bright. And we're gonna take a little dab, not too much in this case. And we're gonna do the same thing we did with Wild Rider Red. We're going to apply a little bit on the raised areas of the model, not too much, keep it subtle. This is gonna help the highlights to blend in later on. Okay, so you want to ditch the red brush and get yourself a clean dry brush. Don't use the same red brush because it's not going to work for this color that we're going to apply. You got Morghast Bone is base color, and I'm going to use this to basically dry brush all the edges and the raised areas. Now, you can use white, but I wouldn't recommend it because it's going to turn kind of pink. Because you have red and white, you know, it makes pink. With this bone ivory color or tan color, you can blend in those reds and it's gonna look really cool. It's gonna give it a weathered appearance and it's gonna blend very well. So in this case, take your time and pick out all those lines and edges and bring that color to life. This is really going to define that red color, and that's what you want. Now I'm going to prep the base for later work, and by later work I mean I'm going to add texture paint, and it's going to be Armageddon Dust, but right now we're going to paint the base in Sandry Dust. This will help me hide any red when I add the texture paint. It's a little bit of extra work, but it pays off later. Now model color black, I'm going to use this one instead of the Games Workshop's Chaos Black. Chaos Black is a little bit too glossy for me. I like matte black color finishes. Not that it's a bad color, because you know Chaos Black is good for painting boots and black leather and all that stuff. But in this case I want the black to be very matte. So I'm going to paint this on the parts of the armor, the underneath parts of the armor, like the under armor. You want to paint the ammo pouches, any other parts that you see that's supposed to be black. Now's the time to paint them black. So okay, got all the black applied to the model, as you can see, and I got a little thin brush to apply watered down black on the small creased areas that are hard to reach to give it more definition. Now with Sandry Dust on hand, we're going to apply this on the shoulder pads, and this is going to be the base color for Morghast Bone. I really want this shoulder pads to be bright to bring it out on the battlefield. So you can see I applied Morghast Bone, and make sure that by you're doing this, you know, you're thinning down your paints. 2 thin coats, the best way to go. Now Elysian Green is going to be for the base coat of the eyes, and I'm going to apply this, and later on we're going to do a lighter green color once it dries. Now we got Dawnstone Gray, and Dawnstone Gray we're going to apply it on the ammo pouches, all the black areas of the armor. And this is the only edge highlighting that I'm pretty much doing on this video, you know, with a thin brush. The other ones I just kind of skipped that and I used a dry brush. But in this case you want to be a little bit careful, you don't want to mess around and ruin all the other details. So you can see he's looking pretty good, and we're almost done here. Now then, the other color is to dry brush the metallic parts. And we don't have a lot of metallic parts in this one. I only decided to keep the weapon in metallic color because that's gonna really shine on the battlefield. It's gonna look good, and it's gonna bring out all those little details of the weapon. Now I'm going to freehand paint the insignias on the shoulder pads. Reason why, I don't have the patience to deal with the decals very much, but if you do, that's awesome, that's perfect. I just tend to grab them and break them. So now, to do freehand painting, if you're new to the hobby, I suggest that you practice a little bit on a piece of paper. This will help you also develop your skills into doing small details on models. Practice on a paper, and then with thin paint, apply it to the model. And as you can see here, I'm taking my time very carefully applying the paint on the model's shoulder pad. Now when you do this, you want to do this when the model is pretty much almost done. You don't want to do this in the very beginning. but keep a piece of paper towel or a Q-tip to remove any damaged excess paint that ruined the shoulder pad. Now, Game Color Scorpion Green, I'm going to apply it on the lenses, and this is really gonna shine very, very much. It's gonna look really good, but Blood Ravens and all, they have very luminous lenses on their helmets, and that's what I'm trying to follow here. Now with the Armageddon Dust, I was gonna say Agros Earthshade, Armageddon Dust, and we're gonna apply it on the base of the model. That's why I told you to prep the base earlier, because look, it's easier, and if it gets close to the feet, we can leave it there. We don't have to move that around too much. Mephiston Red on the blood drop that I'm going to do for the second color of the Raven. And then I'm going to use Waldratter Red to highlight the area where the blood drop is. Just a little bit on the sides, and that's it. Very easy to do. Now the last step but not least is to wash the base with Agros Earthshade and use Sandy Dust to dry brush it. And you would be done. So here we have the Blood Raven Space Marine Primaris, and he's painted and he looks really good in my opinion. I had a lot of fun painting this guy, and as you can see, this guy, there's not a lot of issues with him. It's not the best paint job to win an award, but it looks good on the battlefield. And that's what I want to do here, and that's the key to crank out 20 or 30 guys. So, thank you for watching this video. My name is Sam, your host once again. Any comments on the section down below, suggestions as well. See you on the next one. Take good care. Bye-bye.